Jean, if you want to come up and share with everybody all the excitement a few weeks ago.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, we went up to state finals, and we played, what was it, fifth off the line, or, yeah? Fourth off the line, and then we had to wait all afternoon to see how we did, and then they announced the top 5 bands, and they announced 5 and 4, and we were thinking, well, it was a good season, and then when they said 3, Salem, we were very, very excited with it. This is a great group of kids that we've worked with this year. They're always excited and eager and always willing to learn more and more, and they just take care of each other, and they take care of our staff, and it's just been a wonderful year, including our band parents that are here with them. It's just been a wonderful group to work with.
Awesome. Well, and I have to say, y'all have done such a good job this year, and to the band parents and the concessions, and I know how much work, and I see your post about what time you're getting up and driving to all the things, and so y'all spend a lot of hours and a lot of work, so congratulations. If y'all want to get up here and get a picture with everybody.
Let's give them a
all
call.
band kids.
Yes, we do have seniors.
If you can come in the circle, come in the circle here and face Jamie's camera. Come on in.
Yes.
Come on in.
Malachi,
Face that camera back
and
there.
Harmony.
Sure, Becky, you'll want to.
Yeah, I do. So I'm coming for.
Get in there.
And we have our staff members. Come on up, staff members. You're a part of this too.
Courtney.
Courtney, Henry, Patrick, Regan, and where'd William go?
Hang on, we got some more coming.
Oh,
We got
yay.
some more.
Perfect timing. Yay. Woo. Good timing, good timing. Someone see if we can get you guys kind of a window. I need you, yeah, and a little bit, come up a little bit, there you go, yeah. So
Get in there and kind of squat down with the picture. You two, get down there and squat down.
Oh, I don't know.
make sure I can see you through there, okay? And then you're through there, that's your window and your window. Everybody get your windows, okay?
Rules, guys, spacing.
Sorry. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Stay there, just stay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to release.
Everybody got
All right, well, congratulations, guys. You got there for the picture. Hey, Maddie, if there's tons of awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, no, I love that. I was thinking the other day I needed something that I could.
Of course, I'm the one who knocks it off.
So perfect. Okay, so when do I have a choir concert to listen to you sing?
Malachi, what's the date of the choir concert?
December 3rd and 4th. December 3rd and 4th. Okay. Well, I hate it when things pop up like at the last minute, and I was like, I need to ask y'all like when that is, because, all right, well, congratulations.
You have matching. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bob. Very nice. Sure, you guys are the ones, you're the rock stars. We get big deals. Thank you.
I'll take some three.
If y'all want to hang around for all the excitement, you are more than welcome to, if you want to be like.
See ya.
Are we actually done?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See you, Gene.
You guys have a good night. Sorry I interrupted earlier.
Thank you so much.
I don't have mine. Call in. I will. I'll tell them I told you to get on my just for a phone call.
Okay, now we've got a quorum. We'll call the meeting to order.
First, routine matters. Approved minutes of the executive and regular session of October 3rd, 2022.
So moved.
Becky White makes the motion. Allison seconds. All those in favor raise your right hand. 2, approve agenda. Allison makes a motion. Becky Humphrey seconds. All those in favor raise your right hand. Approve claims to date. Steve makes a motion. Ray seconds. All those in favor raise your right hand. Approval of personnel and ECA recommendations. Chandra Snelling, resignation from BSC Instructional Assistant. Alexis Fleming, new hire BSC Instructional Assistant. Danielle Shockey, new hire BSC Instructional Assistant. Amy Crane, new hire BSC 4th grade teacher. Chastity Brody, transfer from BSC cafeteria to SHS Special Ed Assistant. Gary Smith, third grade maternity leave, beginning January 4, 2023, and he is super stoked about coming back. I seen him at the program the other day, and he loved covering for Alex, and he's excited to be back. So, which is awesome. He was my teacher and my dad's teacher and my daughter's teacher. So we love. He wasn't. Liz Bundy, Liz is there tonight, volunteer high school cheer coach. Glad to see her step up and do that. She had said maybe no, but yeah, here we are. Angie Buchanan, volunteer 5th grade girls basketball coach. Peyton Garlow, volunteer SHS cheer coach. Corey Wells, volunteer swim coach. Kyle Stewart, volunteer 5th grade boys basketball coach. Great to have Kyle over coaching basketball. A lot of experience there. David Wells, volunteer assistant track coach. Josh Sebastian, volunteer assistant wrestling coach. Roger Pennington, volunteer assistant football coach. Austin Roberts, volunteer assistant football coach. Tyler Sizemore, volunteer assistant football coach. J.D. Wade Swift, volunteer assistant girls basketball coach. Ryan Steepleton, volunteer assistant middle school wrestling coach. Curtis Walters, volunteer assistant middle school wrestling coach. Brooklyn Brown, volunteer assistant 5th grade basketball coach. Rebecca Ragsdale, maternity leave, ECA recommendations. Megan Elgin added to the REACH program as an instructor. And a retirement letter that I'll let Dr. Thurston read.
I have a letter that's addressed to members of the Salem Community Board of School Trustees and Dr. Rutherford, Superintendent, members of the Board of School Trustees. After many hours of reflection and trusted consultation with Kathy, I've decided it's time I announce my retirement from Salem Community Schools and Public Education. I arrived at Salem Community Schools on July 1, 2003. My last day as Assistant Superintendent will be December 31 of 2022. I began my career in public education teaching high school social studies at Mitchell Community Schools in 1979. Over the 43 years of my career, 45% of my time has been at Salem Community Schools. It has been a privilege and my honor to be a Salem Lion for nearly half of my career. Following my retirement, if I can ever be of service to the school district, I would be happy to discuss. Thank you and regards.
We appreciate Dr. Thurston's commitment to our school, specifically in my first term as a board and the last 3 years as president through COVID and help and assets of having you. But we wish you well.
Thank you. I miss everyone. So.
Yeah.
Not everyone may miss me.
I will
miss everyone.
We will miss you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will. Can we get a motion to accept?
I'll make the motion.
Becky White makes a motion. Steve seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Donations. I will read all donations. Consider approval of a donation to Salem Middle School for $500 from John Jones Auto Group for the Cubs Care Closet. Consider approval of a donation to Salem Middle School for $120 from Dowling Family Photos for the SMS Football ECA account. Consider approval of the following donations to Salem High School: $200 from Eddie Gilstrap Motors and $500 from John Jones Auto Group. These donations are to be used towards the Disney Imagination campus trip in the spring. Consider approval of a donation to Salem High School for $1,000 from Cooley's Heating and Air for the Disney Imagination campus trip. Consider approval of a donation of Salem High School for $134 from Karen Cody. This donation is to be used for student FCA t-shirts. Consider approval of a donation to Brady Strum Elementary for $20 from the Salem Presbyterian Church donation to be used for student needs. Consider approval of a donation to Brady Strum Elementary for $85 from Roseanne Quattro Art Gives Back.
I'll second.
Allison makes the motion. Becky White seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Comments from the audience. So, as you will notice, our longtime and one sometimes only audience member, Bill Suvak, isn't here tonight. Bill had knee surgery, and he is at home watching, so we just want to say hi, Bill. And we appreciate Bill tremendously, and hopefully you have a quick recovery, and we see you in December. Action items. Anybody else have any comments? Liz, did you say? Do we want to do the update now, or go ahead? Yeah, John. You want to go ahead now?
I think been through projects here with 4 different superintendents, and Dr. Thurston has been the one constant. Really going to miss him. Does a great job. My favorite story was when we were working on the pool, and we had one progress meeting that was next to some kind of class that was only separated by a curtain for some reason, and the class kept getting louder and louder and louder. Dr. Thurston finally was fed up and went in and said, "Hey, we're trying to meet with the architect and the contractors over here." And they came back, and all those big tough contractors are I'm not going to make Dr. Thurston mad. Little attitude adjustment. So you asked us to look at a project enhancement of adding an elevator to the high school that would also go to the 2nd floor. We looked at doing that 2 different ways. One was to go inside the building. It would require us to take over 2 classrooms on the end. That floor in that existing building in that wing is actually a structural floor. It's kind of like a crawl space, so we'd have to cut through 2 structural floors. And as it turns out, we would have to cut through the roof too. So I'm going to spoil every elevator movie you've ever seen. The elevator code does not permit you to get crushed by the elevator going up to the top. You have to have something like 6'8" above there, and so we'd have to penetrate through the roof. In addition, where we would make the connection just also happens to be where we have a closet that has all kinds of conduits and pipes where we connect to the existing building, and those are protected by a special reinforced detail on walls, so that turned out to be not really feasible. So we looked at adding on outside the existing stairwell next to the vestibule. We got a price from an elevator company, and we got a price from Cutter to do the enclosure, and not including the rock removal, we're at $392,600. Rock removal is in the bid at $185 a cubic yard. We're roughly 10 by 10 by 10 hole that we got to dig out of rock, probably $10,000 worth of rock removal or so. So probably in the neighborhood of $400,000 to $410,000. That's a change in scope that we just would like to get approval to add to the project. There's sufficient funds to do it in the bond, and we have some built-in contingency money to cover other things that are unforeseen. We've hit some rock, we've had some utility changes, we've got some others upcoming. For example, the city has said they're going to redo the storm sewer out here on Harrison Street, so we've got some lines that just empty out into the yard that we could connect to that, so that would be covered by the contingency that we've got built in. We looked at additional parking at the middle school. We could pick up about 14 extra spaces there. So even though that is a change in scope and another enhancement to the project, we've got sufficient funds built into the bid contingency to cover that. That would pick up 14 spaces at about $21,000. We've gotten pricing on security cameras and access control for both the high school and the middle school from north side. We had an allowance built into the bid, and we added some outdoor cameras, so we're within $1,500 of that allowance. So we're in good shape on the built-in allowances, but we feel like that the elevator is kind of a big ticket item that I think would be a really good enhancement. We just kind of need your approval on it, if that's the way you want to go. I'm available to answer any other questions.
Table.
I'd say discuss and have you an answer by December.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I mean, for moving, I know the elevator, there's lead time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's 22 weeks from the time they get approved shop drawings plus 3 weeks of installation. So 6 months from the time where they'll want 50% down. I think their bid was like $150,000. So $150,000 of that is just the elevator itself. You know, just the cab and the pump equipment.
Where are we time-wise with completion at this point?
They're saying the middle school about April and the high school about May.
So we would probably need to go ahead and get on it with the elevator.
To have the completion all around the same time then.
If we jumped on the elevator right now and everybody meets their commitment dates, it falls into that May time.
So you're talking about taking out 2 rooms, is that right? So
No, we decided that we didn't want to do that. We'd go outside instead.
Did you go through the walkthrough? You weren't here for the walkthrough.
no, yeah.
So
We were just looking at some different options.
on the west side, where there used to be a canopy, we added a vestibule, and there's a stair in the existing building there. And we could do the elevator at the end of that stair. It would go down 6 feet to get to the basement, and that's all rock. And then we go from that point up 6 feet and be at the level of the new addition, and then up 6 more feet, and that would connect to the second floor that's existing.
So you're asking for us to approve
All right, for the elevator, the 14 parking spots, and then the additional on the cameras.
You're welcome to approve anything you want, but technically, your prior motion gave Dr. Thurston and I the authority to approve the parking lot as long as we kept it within that built-in contingency. If you wanted to approve it, that's fine, but I was going to go ahead and take that out of the built-in contingency. Even after taking that out and some other things, we're over $200,000 left in the built-in contingency. But I really don't want to drain that, every penny of that, for a project enhancement. It's an added scope.
I feel like the elevator though is a necessity.
Not necessarily
Yeah.
It's something we have to
enhancement.
And it'll go on the first floor and the second floor?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, and just to clarify, it's not required by code. Indiana code doesn't require the elevator, but looking at it operationally, and when we went over there and looked at it in person, it really would be a really nice addition, really convenient for students, and also, it is a safe room for the community. If you had a bunch of people that needed to get to it through the building, it'll be a 3,500-pound elevator that would be big enough to have a stretcher in it, so you could easily get 20 people in that elevator at a time.
Could like food services use it too? I mean, like would that be something
Yeah.
too?
Yeah, it's like I say, it's 3,500 pounds, so it's big enough to put a first responder stretcher in. It's a good sized elevator.
Yes. I'm okay with it. Yeah. I'll make the motion.
Becky makes a motion. Steve seconds. All those in favor? Raise your hand.
All right, thank you. Any other questions I can ask?
Where's the parking lot be located?
It'd be just north of the addition, in in that grassy area where the asphalt curves around to the northeast. We'll pave that part of that grassy area.
To the backside of it.
Yeah, so they'll be kind of on a curve, pull straight into them.
So the storm connections, that's part of the
We lose
contingency.
one parking space because there's a big giant storm connection there.
But you connecting those that you were talking about, that's part of the contingency money as well?
Yeah, we had already approved that a while back.
Gotcha.
We had to redo some of the site utilities over there.
Right.
Yeah, things weren't quite like they were supposed to be according to
But the ones you discussed where you were talking about the high school.
Yeah.
And the Harrison Street.
Yeah, that would be, we'll cover that out of the building.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah, okay.
And I can quickly go over some other things that are coming out of that. For some reason, I was brain dead when we wrote the spec section on the plaque, and I only had one plaque. I think we probably need 2 plaques, one for each school, so we'll have another plaque that we have to buy. At the middle school, they have some kind of, was it a laser printer or a laser
3D printer?
3D printer that needs an exhaust pipe. So we've got to get an exhaust pipe out, which you would think, well, that's no big deal, except it's a tornado safe room, so when you poke a hole through the wall, it is a big deal. But we'll cover that. The IT people decided they wanted to, since it was tornado safe room that's with emergency generator and battery backup power, they wanted to put the servers in those 2 rooms. So we're going to have to get some additional air conditioning for their servers. You recall at the middle school, the precast panels are not in great shape. The structural engineers looked at where those precast panels are hanging out front there in front of the cafeteria, and he wants us to add a steel beam because he's concerned about that. And we had talked about a sidewalk from the band room down to Harrison Street. So if people were coming from the football field, for example, they could take a sidewalk without having to go upstairs. So that's about it. All that'll be covered by the built-in contingency.
Any other questions, concerns?
All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming. So we're going to move on to 12, 13, and 14. I'll read together. Consider approval of an out-of-state field trip for the 8th grade on November 21-22 to Finance Park in Louisville, Kentucky with teacher Monica Spalding. Consider approval of an out-of-state field trip for the boys and girls high school soccer team to Lou City and Louisville on October 15th with Coach Corbell Talley. Consider approval of an out-of-state field trip for the Salem FFA to the rodeo in Louisville on November 11th with teacher Seth Purley. Allison makes a motion. Becky Humphrey seconds. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. The next A through E I will read. Consider approval of the following fundraisers. Disney Club, November through February 2023. Disney Club, November 14th through 24th, 2022. BSC 3rd grade t-shirt fundraiser upon approval November 18th. Lions Helping Lions Soup Dinner, November 23rd, 2022. Art Club fundraiser, December 9th and 10th, 2022. Steve makes the motion. Becky White seconds. All those in favor, raise your hand. Number 16. I'm going to get a motion to close the meeting. Becky White makes a motion. Becky Humphrey seconds. All those in favor. I'm going to close the meeting.
Thank you. This is a public hearing to consider the approval of a $2,600, $2,600 additional appropriation to the 2022 Debt Service Fund. The steps have been taken at this point in time. Permission to advertise from the board was granted, advertising a notice to taxpayers in both newspapers and posting the notice to taxpayers in 3 public locations in Salem. When the 2022 budget was formalized in Indianapolis, the Department of Local Government Finance listed one of our lease rental issues as a bond instead of a lease rental. Consequently, that lowered it $2,600, so we're asking the board, we have ample cash in the fund, but we have to have permission from the Department of Local Government Finance to add an additional appropriation so that we end the calendar year in the positive, which is what we want to do and what the State Board of Accounts expects us to do as they navigate through our next audit. So the recommendation tonight is for the school board to approve the additional appropriation of $2,600 to the 2022 debt service fund, and subject to the board approving this, all the ensuing paperwork will be taken care of tomorrow and the following day with the Department of Local Government Finance.
Make the motion.
Becky makes the motion. Ray seconds. All those in favor? All right. Now, get a motion to reopen the meeting. Yeah. Becky Humphrey makes the motion. Allison seconds. All those in favor? Reopen the meeting. Thank you. Number 17, request permission to advertise for an additional appropriation in the 2022 operations fund.
Yes, as we approach the end of calendar year 2022, we're projecting a shortage in appropriations in the operations fund for the remainder of the year. Appropriations are the authority to spend available cash in a fund. As an example, you could have $100,000 in a fund, but the remaining appropriation is $30,000. You're not able to spend the remaining $70,000, regardless of your circumstance, without approval. Our approval comes from the Department of Local Government Finance, as with the additional appropriation in the debt service fund the board just approved. The challenges we are facing in the operations fund are largely the result of increasing prices in utilities, fuel, and building supplies. To date, electricity is up 21.47% from the same time a year ago. Natural gas up 18.64% from the same time 1 year ago. Water, sewer up 24.95% from the same time a year ago. Diesel fuel and gasoline up 93.69% from the same time 1 year ago. The 2022 budget was developed and adopted 18 months ago. We're asking the school board to approve advertising for an additional appropriation of $295,000, and we don't believe we'll need that much, but we feel it's better to have too much and not need it versus not having it and needing it. So we'll follow the same steps as the debt service fund additional appropriation. We'll advertise during this month in November in the local paper and seek approval during the December board meeting. We expect the DLGF approval back prior to the end of the 2022 calendar year.
Steve makes a motion. Ray seconds. All those in favor, raise your hand. Number 18, consider approval of inter-funds transfers and loans prior to December 31st, 2021.
We are requesting Ms. Chrissy Albertson, Salem Community Schools Treasurer, be granted permission to make inter-fund transfers of appropriations. This process is completed toward the end of the calendar year to balance each of the school district's funds. Granting Ms. Albertson this authority eliminates the need for a special board meeting between Christmas and January 1, and would recommend approval of that.
Allison makes a motion. Becky Humphrey seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Number 19, consider approval of permission to issue an extra claim docket in December.
This is a practice we follow every year, as with the previous action. In the event school district receives a bill at the end of the calendar year, need to be paid prior to December 31, but is received after the school board meeting, permission to issue an extra claim docket avoids the need for an additional meeting in December. This circumstance similar to the one we just described and the board approved. Our intent is to avoid asking the board to conduct an additional meeting over the holidays, and would recommend approval.
Mark makes the motion. Becky White seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Number 20, consider approval of an overnight stay at Salem High School for the Esports Club on November 19, 2022. Allison makes a motion, Ray seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 21, consider approval of an affidavit for payment.
The Indiana State Board of Accounts recommends the school board approve affidavits for payment prior to submission to U.S. Bank in Louisville. This affidavit for payment be paid from the remaining funds in the 2012 construction fund. The affidavit is to Electronic Communication Systems Incorporated as a payment of $15,000 for 22 new handheld radios for building communication and security. This acquisition will close out the 2012 construction fund. We're trying to update the handheld radios. Want to make sure that we have equipment that's current and operates reliably, dependably, and just the environment right now. So this is a piece of that, as well as our camera systems as well. So, and it takes heat off of the operations fund by using the construction fund as well. So recommend approval.
Allison makes a motion. Becky Humphrey seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, on the next line item, I'm going to read, then superintendent's going to discuss, so we don't need a motion immediately. Once he's finished discussing, then we'll be looking for a motion. Some of these are, this is an exciting one. Consider approval of the recommendation of the Houchins Insurance Group for health, dental, and vision insurance starting January 1, 2023.
So we are no longer, as of December 31, going to be with JA Benefits or Southern Wellness Trust. Starting January 1, we'll be working with it. It's called the Houchins Insurance Group, and they're led by Randall Dyer and Jonathan Estes. I would like to thank the Southern Wellness Trust for the years that we have been working with them and also making this a smooth transition as well. To say that we're not just super excited is an understatement for what's coming ahead. Last year our staff with health insurance, they received a 10.5 increase across the board for their premiums. This year they were looking at a 7.82 as well. So over a 2-year span, over an 18.32% increase in 2 years in health insurance. I know when I came to Salem, that was a top priority for you guys, is watching out for our staff, and I appreciate that very much. So instead of a 7.82 increase this year, our staff is going to be looking at a 14% decrease starting January 1 of this year. That's a 21.82% swing from just going with the Houchins group here. So special thanks to Liz Bundy out there very much. She's a teacher, a rep with the health insurance. She was also on the board of trustees with myself with the Southern Wellness Trust. She's also very good about taking late night phone calls and early morning phone calls and everywhere else. As this has been a process. It has over the last several months. So Tracy Stone runs all of our HR over here, and Chrissy Alberson, our treasurer, has also been an integral part of this and meeting with everybody and all the different groups and things like that. So there's still a lot of work to do by January 1, but I do know most of that work will be on Tracy Stone right now, as she does all of our she does all the renewals and everything along those lines. But I do know that Tracy is beyond super excited as well, just because she gets to be a part of that where everybody gets to save a little money across the board. So
I think this is one of the things I'm most excited about to make a motion.
Yeah.
Allison makes a motion, Becky White seconds, and everybody's in favor.
We all love saving money.
Well, I think it's just important for our staff.
It's huge.
Concern for so long.
the way the insurance is set up, it is set up to where, you know, like the increases, it goes to the staff. You know, the corporation pays a certain dollar amount. So that 7.82, or you'd say 2 years, that all went on the staff. So the 14% decrease just goes straight to the staff. So that's exciting. Mm-hmm.
That is very exciting.
For your work on that.
Yeah. Items from staff. Liz, you got something you want to say?
That was enough.
That was enough. We appreciate it.
Thank you, text.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for your effort.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a long time coming, and we're seeing progress as we go. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day, but things are getting better. and yeah, thanks for all your work and whatnot. JD, JD's got a headset on, but he's the only other staff in the room, so we always want to show that we're transparent by opening up this time frame to talk to people, bring them in with their views, the questions, concerns. We're always here every month, once a month. Non-action items. No non-action. New board business. We don't have any actual new board business. Safety and security is something we continue to talk about every month. It's something we'll continue to talk about every month, and how we can get better, how we can capitalize on the people that we have and the resources that we have and add to that for our community. So hopefully we can continue down that path. We're still in the air, right? Oh, I'm rubbing them, sorry. No, I'm rubbing the mic. I'm not used to being mic'd up.
Nerves.
Yeah, but new board business, that's one thing that we continue to drive home. Other thing is, how can we provide better benefits, better pay for our people? Something the board's very passionate about as well. Anything else? Superintendent's report.
Quick congratulations to Christy Mickles, Emily Johnson, and our elementary robotics team. They will be headed to state on December the 10th. There was 26 teams, and they placed in the top 10 overall, so which qualified them for state. They also won the Core Values Award for being the best at demonstrating the 6 virtues of the Lego Inspires, which is fun, discovery, impact, innovation, inclusion, and teamwork. They also jumped from 21st place to 8th place at the table games, and they will also be at our December board meeting to show off their talents. Congratulations to a couple sporties out there from our sports, from fall sports. Congratulations Maggie Gibson of the Lady Lions soccer team this year. According to MAPS Preps, she was ranked 5th nationally with an average of over 22 saves per game. Also, again, congratulations to our band, 3rd place finish there. Cross country, we had Laney Roberts qualified for semi-state this year. We had Ivy Harris qualified for regionals, and Lance Steff qualified for regionals. Maddie Irwin and Grayson Hunt were named to the Heisman High School Award winners. Maggie Gibson finished 3rd. Oh, already got that one covered there. All conference. Kellen Humphreys was all conference, and Evan Bolins, all conference for football. Honorable mention was Grayson Hunt and Justin Stevenson. Nate Henry was all conference for boys soccer. And Jonathan Talley was honorable mention, boys soccer. Maggie Gibson, of course, was all conference in girls soccer. Cameron Albertson was tennis, and Jacob Rose was honorable mention. Sydney Burton was all conference in volleyball, and Laney Roberts was all conference in cross country. And that's it.
Nice. Lots of positive stuff going on. Now we move to our positive praises. And Steve, you want to go first? Sure. We've always kind of shifted, so no. Yep.
I just want to say that Salem Community Schools, it's an honor to be reelected to be back on this board. And I appreciate it from everybody. And, you know, this is a board and an organization that I think is moving forward. And I truly mean that it is an honor, and I appreciate being here.
Ray?
Well, Dr. Rutherford said most of what I was going to say about that. But I guess, number one, I understand that the Mark Carter and the drama production this weekend went well. I didn't get to attend it, but I heard good things about it. And also, I always like to recognize Angie Phelps for the work she's done with the Unified Lines and getting that going again. So I saw a posting on that. So shout out to her for that. So.
Yep.
I had some really nice compliments about our principles of teaching class. It's a dual credit class that Megan Elgin teaches, and one of the kiddos' parents that told me this was he went to a college visit in Evansville, and he is pursuing education. and they were just ecstatic that we offered that class at the high school level. Made the comment that we are so much more ahead of times, I guess, than what most students are going into college, and that they were trying to get their local Evansville public schools to do the same thing. They're trying to get them on board. So just a really nice compliment for Salem. Sounds like we're ahead.
We're ahead.
So it's glad to hear that.
Kind of piggybacking on that, I had seen something that was talking about, college classes being offered. The last 2 years, we've had 25% of our graduates have 30-plus college credits at graduation. 10% graduate with over 45 college credits, and we actually had one girl this past year who graduated with 60 credits. Have a girl who's a freshman in college this year who's going to be starting her junior year of college in January, her second semester. So just the excellent work of the dual credit department that we're doing and serving the kids. So
we've been doing that for a while.
And we've been doing it for a while, for 15 years.
Yeah.
So, but just seeing the growth of that partnership with Ivy Tech and IUS and Vincennes and what that means for our kids is really, really exciting. Not just to have all three partnerships is just wonderful. We talked about this a minute ago with like Mr. Smith doing the maternity leaves, and how much I love to see his involvement still in the school and his passion for the classroom. And even though he's retired, he can still jumping back in there. Looking at the donations, y'all, what a great community we live in, honestly, truly. So many people from so many different areas that give back to our students, and if there's a need that arises, how people are quick to donate and to give to that, our local businesses as well. And yeah. That's it. Oh, and the programs, Veterans Day programs, and seeing all the little kids doing all the things was just so much fun. So I know how hard they worked, and I think Julie Rowe had posted that they were practicing a song on the bus on the way home from a field trip, and so just seeing the work. So congratulations to Mr. Rippey and Miss Gorman on the work that they did with that, and all the kids. It was good to see.
And I'm going to piggyback on that. Miss Gorman also, I'm bringing those children to the Legion, the American Legion. I think Sarah Miner would have been very proud of the control she had of 50 students going. I was like, because we were kind of had prior talked about that. Sarah Miner could bring him right in, and we all knew. And Miss Gorman did the same. She was fantastic. So, and it was so good for them to do that kind of an event. It's been a couple years with COVID that they haven't been able to do that. So I know the American Legion was very excited about getting the children, and they did fantastic. So hats off to them. I do want to say I'm very grateful to still be with everyone on this board, and I thank you guys for having faith in me. Also, I want to talking about there was also Spencer Clover and William Collins and Devin Kilburn were awarded outstanding students at Prosser, and we've got some really good Prosser programs too, and I think that's such a bonus here for our school corporation. There was, I'm trying to remember, I didn't take as many notes. I did have some of yours. And of course, we got Liz Bundy here, and Liz, I'm glad you're getting back into the cheerleading. And you're back where you, a little bit. But like, to piggyback also with Allison, we have so many volunteers, and volunteers are, like in the different groups and stuff. That's very important, but I'm glad to see Liz is back where she belongs.
Are you going to do a cartwheel with for us tonight? Okay.
Save that for Irene.
Okay, that's Irene. Okay, Irene only.
So, I think I'm pretty good.
Go ahead, they've robbed everything.
I think they definitely have robbed us. Maddie Irwin's a softball kid, and Grayson Hunt got injured and didn't get to finish the football season. Two great kids. If you've gotten to know them, Maddie, I know close, and I actually prior to their football game, I would hand footballs to Grayson. So great kid. And I hated to see him get hurt, but if there's not two more deserving kids than what we got there. Andrea Gorman, that was probably the best program I've seen in a while. And then to get to go, rain we thought was an issue, but they got to go inside the the American Legion and actually see a program from that point of view. And I've been in the Army 26 years and never got to see that. It was pretty good. It was something for our kids to see and learn. Prosser is state of the art. Our kids getting to do that kind of stuff and then go right into the workforce and I can name a ton of kids who's had that opportunity, and that is huge for our school system. But last and least, when we hired our superintendent, we told him some things that was important to us, and you continue to chip away at that. So we appreciate you. We do.
Yeah, nothing. I did go to the play, Ray, and it was very good. It wasn't as attended as I wish it would, and I have no idea how those guys remember. I mean, I'd have to have a cheat sheet. There are some very talented actors and actresses in that, and that was a very good production. But yeah, I have no idea how they remember everything. Ditto, and I think it's February. I think it's Midsummer Night's Dream is what they're doing in February, so they'll have another one, so you get another opportunity. But they're very good. The Veterans Day program, I sat with Rodney, saw Dr. Rutherford and Dr. Thurston. The robotics team, I was going to talk about the robotics team, got top 10. And Liz, thanks, Liz, for your hard work. That was one of my biggest goals, and whenever and we'll keep chipping away, and we'll always continue to try to do better for the staff. A little bit at a time, where we can.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say, this is probably the first time I actually was going to say something, and he passed me up.
No.
He asked me, and I just passed right on.
You drew a little section.
Yeah, I did. So, no, I was going to say, Thanksgiving's coming, and it always makes me think a good time to say, hey, good time to reflect and say what you're thankful for and that kind of thing. So I know I've only been here 4 or 5 months. When you say the community and that kind of thing, I'm just going to say my family and we love it at Salem. So the community's just been amazing. So just a good time to say thanks on that. I know when you guys gave up your time and we got to go to the regional meeting, and we will get a white bus trip, sooner than later on that one. But you guys give up your time, and I know even through the hiring process and everything else, you've given up a lot of time. And I know one of the comments and one of the topics they were talking about was compensation for board members. And we joke, yeah, we're going to double your pay or triple it. Doesn't matter, still stays the same. But some boards, they are out there. You get a stipend, not much by any means, but you guys don't get a stipend. Other boards, they show up for a meeting, and they get paid to just come to a meeting. Also, they're offered health insurance and other things like that. And you guys do it just out of the kindness of your heart, and just totally appreciate that. So you guys are awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I would say all members on this board probably give back more than most other boards make on their stipends, and so it's not we sat there in the meeting and they were a little upset over maybe that's going to be regulated. That's not why I think any of us ran. So Dr. Thurston only has one more meeting, so he's going to say some thanks tonight, or give you an opportunity to say something.
For you to wait till December and throw it on.
Well, it seems like it's gone by really fast.
Yeah.
First of all, since July 1 of 2003 till now, I've always had and always felt like I've had great support from the school board, regardless of who all was on there. And Steve has been on from the beginning, and there were times when Steve gave me a lot of support, and I really appreciate that. And we can go back and remember when those times were. But it's been a great experience. Going to miss everybody, miss Jana, because Jana holds it all together, and makes it happen. I forget something, she remembers, make sure you sign something, so that's critical. And but I think I'm going to, I don't know, I defer to Mr. Opal. I think I'm going to enjoy retirement. I think you appear.
If you don't, you're
yeah. It's kind of up to me, isn't it, where I enjoy it or not?
Come and go as you please. So.
Okay, yeah. Well, that'll feel pretty good now for a while. It's I worked longer than my dad and my brother, so I guess maybe I accomplished something there in my family. So I appreciate all the support and all the encouragement I've received from the Board of Trustees from 2003 to the present, and thank you very much.
I appreciate you.
You deserve to retire, Ken. You deserve
Yeah.
enjoy.
I was just going to give a positive praise for Dr. Thurston. I thought he'd been here longer. I thought he was here when I moved here. I remember the first time I met him, and you still look the same. You really haven't aged like I have, but I've said before that there's a lot that goes into what he does, a lot of knowledge that most of us don't have, and so in case I'm not here next month, I wanted to say how much you're appreciated and what you've meant over the years to the school. So, and then congratulations to the 3 members sitting here who were reelected. So that's a positive.
Thank you. Thanks to all of you. If there's no more positive praises, we could go on and on. There's so many great things that are happening. Sometimes we get caught up in the negative, but there's a lot of good stuff happening around here. Our next regular meeting will be Monday, December 12th, same time. We will probably go to the. We're going to do it here. We'll do it here. If we can get a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion.
Becky White makes the motion. Mark seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. That's right.